So now we have our water at a boil. By the way, this is right around 6 quarts of water, if you're wondering what the amount was. We take our fresh pasta. As you can see, some of that flour sort of soaked into the pasta itself a little bit as it sat. You don't see it as much as when I first put it on there. I'm going to add this to the... I'm going to add the rest of that flour, even just a little bit in there. And at this point, I'm going to add some salt to this. You pretty much know about how much to put in there, not like that much, but fine for this dish. And at this point, I'll just stir this in. And what I want to do is I'm going to bring this back to a boil, cook this until it's tender. It depends on what you like. I like it happen to be a little bit more bite to it, so it's probably going to be about, after it comes back to a boil, right around about 4 to 5 minutes. I mean, this is fresh pasta, doesn't take that long. And it's right around 4 minutes, really. So bring that back to boil. So let that go, and at this time I'm going to grab the shrimp that we have been cooking in the back there. I'm going to turn this thing off. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to strain this off. Okay. Get all those shells in there. Okay. And a couple guys try to jump out. Didn't want to be a part of the gang. All right. Stick that there. And I'll just press this a little bit, get more of that out of there. That's good. And it should be about a half a cup, which it's right there. Perfect. And you can see the color of that. It's really a nice kind of an orangey color. It's got a nice aroma to it. Really heavy shrimp flavor in there. Okay. Drain that off. Okay, so now we have our, this is basically going to be a flavor enhancer towards the end of it. We put our pasta together. Our shrimp, and this you see I've got my pan already heating up, getting it back. It's just starting to get to that point. You can hear a little bit of a sizzle. At this stage is when I want to add these shrimp. You can see nothing has turned golden yet. The shrimp is, the garlic has not turned golden. If it had, I would definitely start all over again on that part of it. I'm going to add my shrimp mixture to this at this point. You can see the butter's kind of hardened up a little bit on that, which is fine. You can hear it kind of sizzling. And you really don't want to cook at a super high temperature when you're doing this stage. It's actually more critical that you keep it more like a medium and getting it really high here. So I'm going to bring it up. You don't want these things to turn pink. And once these things start turning pink, I mean, these kind of got a built-in thermometer. You can almost tell they've got the C. If that C gets too tight like that, they've been overcooked. You want them to be kind of a little bit loose. Just bring that up. I just want that to kind of cook down a little bit. As you can see now that it's already gotten a lot more shinier, and the butter's already melted back again. Oh, it smells incredible. So I'm just going to bring that up, and as you can see, my pasta is starting to get to the point where it might boil over. So I'm just going to bring that back a little bit. Give that another little stir. You can see it's starting to look really nice. Came back to a boil. So at this point, I'm looking at my clock, and it brings it about, maybe somewhere around 8:52 or so. I'll try a piece and see where we're at. Look at your clock when it comes back to the boil. And that's good. Good to go there. Smells good. And you can hear this is just starting to sizzle. When it starts to sizzle, I want to get back involved in this now. Okay? Back. And you can see this is just not all turned pink right away. It's taking us a little bit of a slower process, but we're not going to harden up that muscle. If you hit that with high heat, that muscle will just tighten up so fast. They'll be so chewy you won't even enjoy this at all. They'll have good flavor, but they'll be chewy. What we're trying to accomplish here is not only a flavor, but the texture to be proper too. So, as you can see, we want to keep that rolling there a little bit. Okay. At this stage, you can add maybe just a little bit of wine. Just a little bit. Just kind of drizzle a little wine in there. You can hear it kind of sizzle up. And what I'm doing again here is I'm creating these flavors by adding a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and adding flavor to this. And you can see this is starting to come together now. All right. How's this doing? Come back over to here. Got about 2 more minutes on this. And this is looking pretty good. Okay. And you can see this is really starting to come together now. Now they're almost all the same color. We got a few that are not quite done yet. I'm keeping an eye on it. I'm watching it. You got to remember, when I put this pasta in here, it's going to cook a little bit longer, so I don't need to have these things completely done. Just till they get just a little bit pink. And now at this stage, what I can start doing is adding some of my other ingredients that I have remaining. Okay, we'll add our sauce at this stage. And we bring it up just a little bit because we want to get that back to the boil again. And I know it looks really watery right now, but you know, once I put that pasta with all that flour that we had on top of there into this, it's all going to come together. You watch. You're going to see it all come together. That was good. Okay. Now at this time, we can add a couple more things. We can add a little bit of our parsley, which is a 1/4 cup of parsley. You don't want to put this in too soon. This is probably about the right stage. And then I like to squeeze, depending on how juicy your lemons are. These are really juicy, by the way, so that's 1/4 of a lemon there. And like I said, this just brightens it up, cleans up the fish. You can see it's starting to boil just a little bit. Bring that temperature down. Just get that in there. And at this stage, what I want to do, I want to look at my pasta. Oh, yeah, that looks good right there. Okay. I'm going to test one of these, and we've got 1 more minute till what I think it should be done. So I'm going to test one before. You always cook more, but you can't cook less. Let's grab one of these. Pull that down. And that looks good. Give that a little try. That's good. Now at this stage, you don't need to drain this pasta. This has got lots of starch in it, which is just going to pull this together. You can see it's starting to come to a boil. And what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to grab this and add this right to this dish. Okay. Pretty much turn this down a little bit. Bring that right in there. 1 more scoop, and I'm going to give this a little swirl here. Incorporate that, start getting those starches to work. Work that in now. Now this is where it's going to start coming together. Now this is the critical stage right here. This is where the sauce is going to start tightening up and becoming part of the pasta here. So it's at the stage right here. There we go. Oh yeah, look at that. That's perfect. You can smell that. My dog's over here just flipping at me, just licking anything that I could possibly drop on the floor. Doesn't matter what it is. Come back over here and add a few more of these noodles. I know they're left in here. Now she's grunting. You know, I'm not going to drop a shrimp, Foxy. That's not going to happen. Okay, that's it on that, so I can turn this off. Back to this again. You can see how that's already tightening up. That sauce is already tightening up into that. All the starches are starting to come together. And usually at this point, what I like to do is grab another spatula. And then sort of like you do in a salad. Oops, lost a shrimp there. Okay. Oh, that looks so good. Oh yeah. And then for the last part of this, what I like to do at the very end, just to finish this, is add a little bit of Parmesan. I know some people say that adding cheese to seafood is not the right thing to do, but you know, let me tell you what, I've been around cooking for a long time, and everybody that I ever cooked with, it's always add a little bit of Parmy at the end of this type of a dish. And not only does it increase the flavor, but it does tighten it up a little bit, give a little more richness to it. Good Parmesan though. Don't use that stuff in the green can. I never use that. That stuff's garbage. You'll ruin a meal with that. It has anticoagulants in it, and that stuff tastes terrible in cooking, so try to get away from that. So basically now this dish is done. That's it. Let's go ahead and plate it, and I'll show you how I plate it. Come back over here. I've got this beautiful dish here. We'll add that. You can see how that sauce all thickened up. Remember how liquidy it was? Look at that. Came nice and thick. And then what I'm